Good morning, students of St. Michael's. Welcome to the fourth class of accountancy of class 12. We were continuing with partnership, and in the last class, we had studied topics such as what are the consequences of non registration of a firm, or what are the benefits that if we register a firm. This is an important topic for the theoretical part, and it always comes in the exams. So, it's important that you learn those points. Next, we had discussed that how are interest on drawings calculated. I had told you that dates of interest, when the dates of drawings are not given, then what do? We simply divide the interest by 2, or we multiply it by 6 by 12. Okay. So in the last class, we were going to do this illustration, but because of lack of time, we won't be able to do it. So in this class, we'll continue with the illustration, and I want all of you to first copy this illustration before starting the sums. And for those who have done it, very good, you can follow the illustration and see if it's yours is correct or not. In the last class, we had already read the sums, so read the illustration. So without any further delay, I am just starting the problem or illustration, and I have already drawn the format. So I'll make it easier for you. First, I recorded by net profit 60,000. Then I know that what are the items that will be available in my illustration. So the second item I wrote was interest on capital. The third item was by interest on drawings. Now interest on drawings is recorded in the credit side because it is an income for the firm. I had already explained this part to you that interest on drawings is an expense for the partners but an income for the firm, and interest on capital is an expense for the firm, however it is an income for the partners. So we are making accounts for the firm and not the partners. So all the expenses of the firm will be recorded on the debit side, and all the incomes of the firm will be recorded on the credit side. So these are the expenses of the firm that are to be recorded. Interest on capital, partners remuneration include A's salary and B's commission, and lastly 2, share of profit is also an expense of the firm. So by net profit, I have recorded 60,000 as it was given in the sums. Now the next part is interest on capital. So first let's work out what the interest on capital will be. A was 60,000, the capital of B was 70,000, and the capital of C was 80,000. Since there was no addition or withdrawal of capital throughout the year, so this sums becomes very easier for us to solve. So the rate of interest on capital is 10%, I believe, into 10% into 10%. So this is not interest on drawings, so please keep in mind that we don't have to divide it by 2, since the capital was same throughout the year. So this interest is being calculated for the whole year, means for whole 12 months. If there was addition or withdrawal in the illustration, then we would do it accordingly. There is an illustration after this which shows that what shall we do if there is addition or withdrawal of capital. So first let's finish this sums and then we'll do that sums. So interest on capital for A is 6,000, for B it's 7,000, and for C it's 8,000. It over here 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, and write the total over here 21,000. Now second we have partners remuneration or and which includes A's salary and B's commission. So there's no working in this. They have clearly told us that salary payable to A is at rupees 1,000 per month. Okay, so A's salary 1,000 per month means 1,000 into 12 for 12 months means 12,000. So 12,000. Now another remuneration is commission payable to B, which is 8,000 per annum. So please don't multiply 8,000 by 12 because it's already given in per annum. In the last one, which is salary, we multiplied the figure by 12 because the salary was given per month, and we have 12 months in a year, so he was given salary for each month, which means 1000 into 12. However, in the case of commission, it was given to be for the whole year. He was given it only one time, means he was given only 8000 throughout the year. So 8000. Next, before calculating the share of profit, we have to deal with the credit side, which is interest on drawings. So let's do the working for interest on drawings. Now the drawings by A, B and C were 10,000, 15 and 18,000 respectively. They have not specified that on which dates were these drawings made, so we'll follow our rule. Okay, so the rate of interest is 12%. So 10,000 into 12%, 15 into 12% and 18 into 12%. Now we will have to divide it by 2, or simply write 6 by 12 for everyone, for every drawings. I had already made you understand the logic behind this, that whenever the date of drawings is not given, we simply divide the whole drawings by 2 or write it as 6 by 12. Now the basic logic behind this is that, see, we don't know whether A, B or C has withdrawn the money at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year. Right? Suppose if you take a loan from someone and you pay it after, suppose 6 months, you pay it after 6 months. So you will have to pay the interest for 6 months, right? You won't pay the interest for the whole year. So in the same way, if A withdrew the money in January, he will have to pay the interest till December. But if A withdrew the money in July, right, so if he will have to pay the interests only from July to December, only for 6 months, right? So that is why this is the primary logic why we multiply it by 6 by 12, because we don't know when the money was withdrawn. So if we charge it for the whole year, that is not fair on the part of the partners, because it is an expense for them. So that is why we simply assume that the cash or the drawings were withdrawn in the middle of the year. That is why we take 6 by 12. Okay, so 10,000 into 12%, 1200 into 6 by 12, 600. 15,000 into 12%, 1800 into 6, 900. And 18,000 into 12%, 2160, and divide by 2, 1080. So now we have all the three interest on drawing. So let's go to our PL Pro and copy it. Okay, so 600 plus 900 plus 1080 is equal to 2580. Now what we used to do for the profit and loss account, we used to total the credit side, right? Because we assume that that is more. So here the credit side is 62580. Okay, and since the credit side is more, as you can see, in the debit side there is only how much? 21,000 plus 12,000 plus 8,000, which is equal to 41,000. So it is lesser. So what do? We write the amount which is more on both the sides, 62580, and the total of the debit side is 41,000. So what do? We subtract it, 62580 minus 41,000. So the total profit is 21580. So we write 21580 over here. So in the problem, if we see, in the first point it says profit sharing ratio not mentioned in the partnership deed. So if something is not mentioned, especially when the profit sharing ratio is not mentioned in the partnership deed, what is the provision for that? The profit is to be divided equally among all the partners. So 21580 when divided equally means 21580 divided by 3 is equal to 7193, 7193 and 7194, so that the total can come equal to 21580. So this was the complete sum of, this was a very simple illustration of profit and loss appropriation account. So please copy this, and I'm really very sorry if the Handwriting is very bad, I can understand, but it's not very easy to write on screen. So thank you for bearing with me. So the next illustration for today is the illustration on interest on capital that I was previously talking about, that what do we have to do if a partner introduces or withdraws capital in between the year. Because suppose if a partner starts his year with a capital of 1 lakh and he introduces 50,000 into the business in the middle of the year, so he is entitled to receive interest on capital on his capital, right? This is the capital and he will receive interest on it. So for half year the capital was 1 lakh, and for the other half what was the capital? 1 lakh 50,000. So doesn't it not make sense that A will be given, suppose in our example A is the partner and A will be given interest on capital for the whole year, for the whole year on rupees 1 lakh? No, right? Because for half year the interest, the capital was 1 lakh, and for the other half the capital was 1 lakh 50,000. So the interest on capital will vary. In the last example the capital was same throughout the year, so we just multiplied it by the percentage and the interest on capital was there. But what is to be done when the interest on capital is, I mean the capital is different? So Raman and Kamal are partners in a firm. Balances of their accounts as on 1st Jan 2012 were as follows: Raman 60,000 and Kamal 50,000. Raman introduced additional capital on 1st July 2012, 10,000. Then Kamal introduced 15,000 on 1st October, and on the same day Raman withdrew capital 5,000. So what happens in the starting of the year? We'll assume R and K, not Raman and Kamal. So R had a capital of 60,000 in the starting of the year. In On 1st July 2012, R introduced 10,000 as capital. So now his capital has introduced to 70,000, right? And then again what happens when K introduced 15,000 as additional capital on when? On 1st October. On the same day means on 1st October, what did R do? R withdrew the capital. Okay, so listen very carefully. In the starting of the year, Raman's capital was 60,000. Then on 1st July, his capital became 70,000. Then again on 1st October, what did he do? He withdrew the capital. How much? 5,000. Yes. So his capital became 60,000 plus 10,000, 70,000 on this date. And then 70,000 minus 5,000 is equal to 65,000 on this date. Understand this first, that how the capital is being fluctuated over here. Then we'll proceed to the sums. So Raman's capital is clear, I hope. So Kamal's capital, Kamal has only added capital, he did not withdraw. So in the starting of the year it was 50,000 for Kamal, and then what happened? He introduced rupees 15,000 on 1st October. So we can say that from January to September the capital was 15,000, and then from October to December the capital was 50 plus 15, 65,000. Isn't this the whole case? Like for 9 months the capital was 50,000, and then for the last 3 months of the year the capital became 65,000. 50 plus 15, right? So let's proceed to the sums and let's see how we'll do the sum. So for the first 6 months the capital of R was how much? It was 60,000, if I'm not wrong. It means that from 1st January till the end of June, the capital was introduced on 1st July, means till June the capital was 60,000. So from 1/1/12 to 31/6 2012 the capital was 60,000, right? And the rate of interest is 12%. Okay, so we'll calculate the rate later. First, just let's see that what are the changes that took place in the capital of Raman. Now from July, means from 1/7/2012 till 31 September 2012, right? So he had made additions in his capital on 1st July. How much did he add? 10,000. So his capital from 60,000 to 70,000, right? So from 1st July till 31st September, his capital was 70,000. I hope it is clear. Lastly, what he did on October, on 1st October means on 1/10/2012 till the end of the year means 12/2012, 31st December 2012. What did he do? He withdrew. How much of the capital? 5,000 of the capital was withdrawn by him. Means from 70,000 his capital became 65,000. Clear? Now let's calculate the interest, and the main thing which is to be kept in mind is the number of months. What is the number of months that I'll have to write? So 60,000 into 12% into 12% into 12%, same for all. Okay, so from January till June means how many months? January, February, March, April, May, June. Only for 6 months. Not for the whole year, only for 6 months. His capital was 60,000. So interest will be given on 60,000 only for 6 months. Means 6 by 12. Correct? So 60,000, 12% divided by 2. 3,600 on this. Now from 1st July till 31st September means July, August and September. We are taking September because the capital was withdrawn in the beginning of October. So the full of September is to be taken. So July, August, September, 3 months. So into how much? 3 by 12. Clear? Into 12% divided by 12 into 3, 20, 100. Lastly, again 65,000. For how much time was it? 65,000 from October till December. So October, November, December, again 3 months. So 3 by 12. How much? Divided by 12 into 3, 1950. Now total is equal to 7650. So this is the total interest on capital of R, which will be debited where? To the profit and loss appropriation account. Now let's come to the capital of K. So in case of K, there was no withdrawal, there was only addition. So for the first 9 months, the capital was 50,000, and for the last 3 months, he added 15,000. So the capital became 65,000. Okay. Interest rate 12%, 12% into how many months? From January till September, right? So 9 months, 9 by 12, and here from October to December, 3 months, sorry. So this will be 4,500 and this will be 19,000, sorry, 1950 is equal to 6450. So this is the total interest on capital for R. These are two very simple sums that I am giving you for homework, and please note that for as these sums will form part of your assignments and you will get marks for doing the homework too. So it's very necessary that you do this, do these sums nicely and then send it to me on this email. Also, if you have any problem in understanding today's class, please don't hesitate to disturb me anytime. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me just matlab, give a brief about the sum. This is a profit and loss appropriation problem, and this is a problem of interest on capital. Both are quite easy. I hope you all will be able to, you all will be able to do it. Thank you so much.